Hello, welcome to London Players Guild. My name is Peter. I am a person. Welcome. Today, a bit more talking video. I actually haven't done many of those in recent times. I don't think I've ever done one of those. But, as you have probably seen if you're following our channel, there was recently a reboot, a brand new reboot of Cardfight Vanguard anime called Vanguard OverDress. So, Vanguard OverDress is a brand new anime which is done in different style to any other animes. Especially any other animes about card games. For starters, a huge shout out to Clamp for actually making this a decent anime. Animation is beautiful. You don't have the noodle legs and noodle hands that you know from Code Geass, for example. So, absolutely love that. Beside that, how do you make an anime about a card game not being an ad for the product? This is pretty much what I want to talk about, because people like me, people from the 90s, definitely have seen Yu-Gi-Oh!, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, then we got Zell, we got Arc 5, or Arc V, then we got Sevens? Oh, Sevens is now Vrains, that's the one I was missing. It was Vrains, now there's Sevens. So there's tons of those Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime, and there you have story mostly about the duel that's currently happening. You have two people just throwing the cards down, and majority of everything that's happening is happening in the game that they are actually playing. Vanguard was like that as well. The very first season I enjoyed because there was no... that's going to be 10 years ago. There was no stakes. So in first season, they had that Psycholia power that essentially made them into douchebags. But they were not... how to say this? They were not saving the world with that. They were saving some other distant world that was not part of it. They were saving Planet Cray. But they were not saving themselves. There was no that huge impending doom. It was a normal guy, just learn how to play the game, and then decided to go to nationals with his friends, or qualified for nationals with his friends, lost at nationals, was salty, and then practiced for a year, and next year he became friends with a national champion, and became a douchebag, because they both got that special power. Kinda like Millennium Puzzle from Yu-Gi-Oh!, I guess. So yeah, it was all about that power is not everything. It was very interesting for me, because there was no supernaturality beside that Psycholia, and even that Psycholia could be explained as in he became good and he became a douchebag, and then he remembered how it is to be friends, and I like that. Then they went on to save the world, and Cardfight Vanguard anime just went downhill from that point onwards. When they went to G, it was interesting, because then they just embraced that saving the world, and they made it a bit more interesting, story driven. There was way more happening behind the scenes, not only what's happening in the current game that we have. Yeah. Now we have Vanguard OverDress. So we have the main protagonist right here, and that's a guy. So the anime actually feels way more like a drama or slice of life, where you have this guy who can't say no. Reminds me a bit of Iruma-kun from the Demon School. So he can't say no to someone, he's not very assertive, and his sisters essentially bully him into wearing skirts, and he looks cute as a girl. And the whole episode is about everyone mistaking him for a girl. And then police officer, knowing that he's a guy, she just doesn't let it slip until the very end of the episode. And then we go into Team Blackout's... oh, sorry, first we have some guy picking up on him, which is an amazing thing, because this is a fairly common occurrence. Cute girls are getting picked up on, they don't really want the attention, and a guy can't take no for an answer, even when he's, you know, kicked, essentially, in his royal jewels. He doesn't take no for an answer. He then attacks the girls, main character Yu and Megumi, in the park, and he starts stripping himself because Bird pooped on him. It was comedic value. I actually properly laughed watching that. If you haven't seen it yet, I strongly suggest you do. I think it's officially coming out this weekend, so definitely something to see. But yeah, you can see the guy is just like your typical douchebag. And then we get bits and snippets of Megumi's story. She has a brother that's not really her brother, but she looks up to him. And the guy then shows up when Yu and Megumi meet that douchebag again for the third time. And he just wants to throw stuff at them for whatever reason. He's just upset with them because he got arrested by a policewoman. Yeah. Then they meet Daiji, then Yu and Megumi are invited to... or rather, Megumi invites Yu to go to that abandoned theme park, which is a really cool setup. It's very creepy. It's very... You have a feeling that something wrong is happening there. And only then, it's way past half point of the episode, we are actually seeing some Vanguard action. So it doesn't feel like they're throwing Vanguard at us all the time. We don't even know if the main character knows what Vanguard is. He just said that it was a cool fight. And the fight was amazingly animated. Like we have here a couple of clips or screenshots, whatever I'm going to grab for this. Here we can see how they animated that fight, and this is just one turn when the grade 3s start attacking each other, I think. Because essentially as soon as both players went to grade 3, the animation stopped being just that boring putting down cards, which it started with, and I thought that it's going to be very unusual, and it got into that fast-paced action, that fight between this knight on the Pegasus versus this very aggressive American footballer. We also have some weird shit happening in the shadows. So here we can see Daiji, I think Daiji, is getting his card from the shadows. It gives that sense of mystery. There is something more there. And it feels very anime, but the way it feels, it doesn't feel like an anime that was made to give Vanguard a shine. It was anime that was made with Vanguard as a crucial part of the story, but they're not spending the whole episode or couple of episodes playing one game. This is the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duels, which can go for 5-6 episodes, almost like a Dragon Ball. It's also not a harsh skip like Vanguard started doing, where you had a situation where we start, and then we skip to turn 3 when I go into my big grade 3 play. And then you don't really know what's happening. Well, they kinda do that as well, but it's because it's not that important here. The game on its own is not that important. It's the characters that you start to feel and understand. You don't have those flat characters that can only be experienced through a couple of episodes. You actually, right now, for the main cast, we know really well of what type of characters they are. We don't need to learn much more about Daiju because we had plenty of interactions with him. We know that he doesn't like violence. We know that he will not step down. We know he protects people he cares for. We know he's a good friend. And that was one episode. He had a proper development of the character, and he was in half of that episode, I think. We have Megumi, which is a very girly girl. She wants girlfriends and things like that. But then when she goes to fight, she's very tomboyish. So she's like that very manly type of a woman. We have Yu, which can't say no to anyone, and we can see that being abused by his sisters. We can see that in the awkwardness of him not being able to say anything about him being actually a boy. Everyone thinks he's a girl all the time. And it's not because he's not trying to say anything, it's just he can't say anything because he's very shy, not assertive. We have Tamari, which is a policewoman, and at the same time she's the MC for the tournaments, which is amazing. So we see that she is a bit of a playful, she's a bit of a jester, because she knew all the time that Yu is a guy, since it was reported by his sisters, But she didn't say anything until very, very late, and we could see that Daiji started developing crush on Yu, and then smack the reality that Yu is a guy. It does remind me a lot about that quote-unquote non-existing relationship between Aichi and Kai, because everyone was always putting them together. And it was not technically there, but everyone was seeing that, and that Kai-kun and all that stuff was... To be fair, I enjoyed those bits. It was kind of a fun service. But yeah, I think OverDress has a huge potential as an anime. Not talking about the game right now, putting aside the reboot, putting aside the cards, the anime is great. It's not pushed, it's not forced. They're not going for that, every week we need to have a new episode. There's going to be just, I think, 12 episodes in the first one. And then there's going to be season 2 later in the year. I think in October is the second season. So I'm really looking forward to all of it. I'm going to make my own review when it's all out. But if you haven't given it a try yet, do watch OverDress. It's coming out this weekend. I think on Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll said that they're going to be doing this. So I think tomorrow, Saturday or Sunday, it should be on Crunchyroll. Give it a go if you don't have it yet. I think it's always available somewhere. Yeah, I strongly suggest that if you like Vanguard or if you enjoyed Code Geass, it's a good anime to watch. And then maybe that will get you into a card game because you will like the characters you see and because you want to play with the decks that they are playing with. I think playing the decks that your favorite characters play has something to it. I really like what they did there, and as I said, this animation. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed my little ramble, do let me know in the comments. I might be doing a bit more of those if I find topics to talk about, or maybe I'll get Scott or someone else to talk with me about stuff. Yeah, let me know down in the comments, leave a like, and if you're not subscribed yet, please do subscribe. It does help our channel. We are at almost or just over 800 subscribers, so we're climbing way to our first 1,000 subscribers. So if you want to help us, please just click that red button. Just click it. Thank you. See you next time.